So in a previous tutorial, we looked at how to implement a smooth crouching system, and on that video, a viewer asked me for some help after they had tried unsuccessfully to change the system from a tap to toggle to a hold to crouch system. I have since showed them the correct way to wire it up, but in this tutorial we are going to analyze the problems in their logic and fix them to make a working hold to crouch system. This is a tutorial to show you how you can, the basic methodology for how to check your logic for errors and to test them. Bear in mind, this is the simple version of the smooth crouching system. This does not have the logic to check whether you are able to stand up, and it also does not put the camera in the right position. I leave that to you to implement in this system using what we learnt in the sequel to the tutorial that the comment that sparked this video that was left on. So you can see that I've set up the incorrect way that the viewer set it up when they showed it to me. Now if we compile and save this and then play, then we try crouching. Holding down works, but standing up, if I let go, doesn't stand up. If I press again, it stands up. So already we have some weirdness, because first of all, it doesn't hold to crouch. You just tap it to crouch, and it's not doing what we want to. So let's go back into our player, and let's just look at what we've got here. Okay, so we're going to read through what's happening. So when the player presses crouch, it checks if the player is crouched. So if the player is crouched, then it sets them to not be crouched, and it reverses. And if we look at this, what it does is it means that instead of looping from stand half height to crouched half height, it will go from crouched half height to stand half height, instead of that to the capsule height. Okay, so that's fine. And then if we look at this one here, this will, because we're going reversing, instead of going from real move speed to max walk speed crouched, it will go from max walk speed crouched to real move speed. And that is also set up fine. So now we've checked this, and we know that this whole part here, after this timeline, is correct. We don't have to worry about this. So we know this is correct because this should be working, this part. And we know it's working because it was changing our height and everything. So now we've isolated it that it's not this part here. It's this part over here that's not working. So then if we say that if the player presses crouch, the crouch button, and the player isn't crouched, then it'll set them to being crouched. It will set their real move speed to start walk speed, and then it'll play it. And now if we look at this is, if we forget about this part here for the released part of it for a second. If we look at this is a toggling crouch system, because when we're pressing it, it's checking something before it's checking which thing it should do, whether it's crouch or uncrouch, when we're pressing the button. So already we can see that this is toggling, this isn't holding. So now we've figured this out, we know that we have to delete this branch here, because this is making it a toggleable one. So what we want it to do is when we want to press it, we want it to start crouching. So we have to look at which one of these sets of logic here is the one that's making us crouch. Well, this one makes us play, and playing makes us crouch. So it's this line of logic here. So that means we want to delete this branch, and we don't need the variable either. And we want to delete this, because this is making us reverse. We don't want that. So now we have us crouching when we press the crouch button. So now we have the first half of the holding to crouch. Now we want to look at what happens when we release the button. So when we let go of the crouch button, it checks if real move speed is set to start walk speed. And if it isn't, then it plays real move speed and then makes us crouch. Now if we think about this doesn't make any sense, because this is checking whether real move speed, which shouldn't make any difference when we're crouching, because when we're crouching, because if we're letting go, we should already be crouching. So this is checking right now. This is checking if the speed that is irrelevant to us, because we're at max walk speed crouched right now, is set to max walk speed. Which it always will be, because we set it here when we start crouching. So this part of logic is completely irrelevant, and it's not doing at all what we want to do. So now if we just think about this, if when we're pressing it, we want to set is crouched to true, and we're setting real move speed to start walk speed, because we want to stop the player from sprinting when we do this, then all we have to do is make the player not be crouching, so set is crouched to false, and then reverse the crouching. So just plug that in there like that, and then just move this over for the sake of OCD. Then this should work, because we've read through it. So if the player presses crouch, is crouched will be set to true, and is crouched is used in the sprinting, by the way. That's why we have an is crouched variable. Then it'll set real move speed, start walk speed. Then it'll play this timeline. This is the crouch timeline. I just haven't. It's not named. And then we already checked this, so we know that this will make us start crouching. Then if we let go of the button, it will stop. It will set this crouch to false, and then it will reverse, which means it will go back from crouching, which makes us stand up. So now we have created a system that should allow us to hold to crouch. So we compile and save, and make sure everything's saved, and then we play. And if I hold it down, I'm crouching. I let go, I stand up, and I can spam it so everything's working properly. So if I hold, I start crouching. If I let go, I stop crouching. So now you can see from a broken piece of code which had some errors not errors, but some problems, and it wasn't doing at all what we wanted to do, we've created a proper working crouching system which will allow us to smoothly crouch, but when we're holding. Right now I'm holding it down, and I let go, and I stand back up again. And there's no bugs, there's no weird stuff happening. So we have successfully analyzed the broken piece of logic that was here previously. We've isolated the incidental part, which was this part here, because this part we figured out was working properly. And then we fixed it. So I hope this has helped you with your analyzing of the problems in your logic, so it can help you when you have problems in the future, because believe me, you will never not have problems when you're programming. It's something you'll always run into. It'll be a small little thing you forgot to type in, or in this case put a note in for, or connect up. There'll always be a problem. So I hope this helps you with your analyzing of problems, and also this helps you so you know how to make a holding to crouch system. You can change it into a holding to crouch system instead of a tap to toggle crouch system. So if you'd like to learn more about UE4, then please join me next time.